What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing the best midfielders to bring in this week. So we're going to look at premiums, and we're going to look at the the two rookies there are, and we're going to talk about what promos that I would put in, and then we're going to go the top 3 players that I think you should have out of the mids this week. We're going to do a defender video tomorrow and a forward video the next day, so stay tuned for that. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to subscribe. Alright, let's get into it. So Dunkley, obviously we're going to ignore. McRae, now he's had a few down weeks. When I say down, he still had a 3-round average of 109. Unfortunately, I traded him in 3 rounds ago for about 670, something like that. So top dollar. Still, I think it was a good trade. I mean, it hasn't really benefited me yet, but if you don't have McRae, I think this is probably almost as low as he's going to get. What's his break even? Break even of 150, so maybe one more price drop. And I think most people do have him. Like, look, he's in 47% of teams. So if you don't have McRae, definitely this week or next week, you will need him to finish your team if you want to compete with the big dogs. Cam Guthrie is another really good option. The thing I was really tossing up with him is, does danger really affect him when he gets back? And I think one of Duncan and Guthrie will be affected by Danger returning, because I don't think Danger's going to play forward, not with Cameron and Hawkins in the team. I don't see Danger playing forward at all. So Guthrie might drop a little bit. For now, he's still really good, like 122 average with a 3-round and 128. He's such a stat pad as well. He goes to the back line, he gets a lot of cheap ball. So yeah, the good thing about him is he has the first buy. Now, from what I've seen, a lot of teams, the buy rounds are a real tricky situation. So round 2 is a little bit of a problem for me, and round 3 is a problem for just about everyone that owns Gorn and Grundy. So ideally, don't trade in any round 3 buy players for the next few weeks. So Guthrie, for me, is a really good option. Whether I get him or not is another question. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should. Jared Lyons, another one. So if you don't have him yet, bring him in. He's got the second buy, and I think he's just as much of a lock as anyone. 3-round average of 135. Hasn't gone under 100 all year. Don't forget about that, guys. He hasn't gone on 100 all year. I think him and McRae are the only 2 players that do so. So you know what you're going to get week in, week out. He's a safe ton. And as shown over the last 3 weeks, he can go more than 100. I think around 6, I was really looking at him, considering him, and thinking, he doesn't have the greatest ceiling. Like a 139 here, 128, that's good. But then he's just gone 145 and then 138 with a 122 as well. So he's definitely got a ceiling. Don't worry about that. I'm going to chuck. If I trade him in, I don't know if you guys know him, but I've reversed my trades and changed them up a little bit. But I think I'm going to have Lyons this week instead of Dusty. I'm going to wait one more week on Dusty and just make sure he's right. And it wasn't just a fluke of a round. He did kick 4 goals, so I want to make sure his body is completely right before I trade him in, and his form. So Lyons, I think I'm going to bring him in this week and vice captain him on the Friday. He plays Richmond. So yeah, should go berserk. Bontempelli, he's the other one. So these 3 right here, these 4 right here. Wait, what are we? We're not even on mids at the moment. Okay. So Bont, Lyons, and Guthrie, as well as McRae. These 4 are all absolute locks, and Oliver. So Walsh, I don't see as an absolute lock, but these top 5, 100% locks. You definitely want all of them in your team, in your final team at least. I know it's a lot harder than just saying and putting them in your team. Obviously, it's a lot more than that. But these 5, ideally, you want to have in your final team. So talking about Bond, he is just about as good a pick as anyone. He's so safe, it's not funny. Like, his form, I honestly think he's going to win the Brownlow. He's pretty comfortably the best player in the competition, as far as I'm concerned. Just turns it on. He killed Carlton a few weeks ago. I missed his Port game, but at 128, apparently he was unreal again. Yeah, he's just all class, Bontempelli. Moving on to Clary. With Clary, he's like Bont in the way he scores, but he's just a contested pig. Like, he'll get all the contested ball. So many handballs, they're all contested. Tackles, he's just a SuperCoach pig. Like, everything he does works really well for SuperCoach. Similar to Josh Dunkley. Clary, as far as I'm concerned, lock every year. Walsh, so he's had a few down weeks. Only really the 2 the whole year. So yeah, Yeah, I think he's almost a lock. 588 is probably as cheap as you're going to get for him. So if you are thinking about Sam Walsh, plays Hawthorn as well. Don't see him getting tagged. Maybe a Warple, maybe a Shields. But yeah, I think Walsh is a great option if you don't have him and you're looking to bring in a Carlton player. Jack Steele. So this is an interesting one because the price is right, completely right. It's a perfect price to bring in a guy who's averaging 113. And a guy who's capable of averaging 120 from here on out, well and truly. The issue is that third buy. So that third buy round, if you guys have been ignoring the buys, trust me, you do not want to ignore them if you're playing for ranking. If you're playing for league and you're happy to sacrifice 1 week of a shit score, bring in Jack Steele. Because I'll guarantee you, if you got Gordon Grundy, that buy round is going to be really difficult for you. However, if you ignore the buys, I think Steele's a great option and he's probably fully bottomed out now. Breaking at 114. Maybe one more price drop, but if it is, I think he's bottomed out completely. So, you have to look at Steele because he's more than likely a top 6 mid. Right now, sitting at 7th. I think he probably finishes top 6 just ahead of Walsh, and Walsh might finish 7th, and then it will drop off, I believe. But yeah, I wouldn't go trading in Steele, unfortunately. So then we got Mundy. I don't rate the Mundy pick, just too old. Hugh McCluggage, he's a really interesting one. Does Neil coming back affect his scoring? Probably. I know he plays wing, so it's a bit different. Gee, it's a bit of a left field pick. If you picked him a few weeks ago before he went up to 596, he would have been a great option. Like, look at his last few rounds. 128, 127, 117, 128, 140, 103. He's an animal. He's a dead set animal. But would I pick him? Probably not. You may as well pay the extra 40k for Lyons, in my opinion. But as a pod, maybe. 30% of teams. Lyons only in 30% as well. So, yeah. These Brisbane mids, man, they get slept on. Especially Lyons. He's going to be a lock for me every year from now on until he starts slowing down. Merritt, he got a really hard tag on the weekend. So his price is, if you don't have him, he's a genuine top 6 contender. So maybe next week, probably not this week because break-even 144. If you really need to trade him in this week, do it. It's probably this is the second lowest he's going to get. He might go to 550. But Merritt's a jet. He won't get tagged like that every week. That was an unbelievably hard tag, and I don't know why. Like, he can get. Darcy Parish was roaming around dropping 40 touches and a couple of goals or something. Like, seriously? Get off Merritt and go to Parish, you idiot. That's why you lost. Who do they play? Freo. That coach does not know what he's doing. I'm sorry, but he's a dumbass. Laird, everyone already has. Selwood, I wouldn't go near him. This is the score we sort of thought he could do because it's Selwood. Like, he hasn't been relevant for the last few years. Tom Mitchell, he got burnt. He burnt a lot of people this week. A lot of people jumped on him thinking he was good. I think he gets the Ed Kerno tag this week, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't know. Mitchell's, I would stay away from him if I were you guys. If you already have him, unfortunately, you're stuck because it's an awkward position. Taranto, I thought he actually played better than what he scored. I think he got scaled down in the end. So, yeah, would I pick Taranto? Probably not now. Don't think he's going to be a top 6 mid. This sort of price, anything over 500, you're pretty much picking him to be top 6. And, yeah, I don't rate the Taranto pick. Petrarca is someone I would consider. Genuine top 6 contender, but you want to see a bit more form first before you trade him in, I think. I want to see like a couple of 120 pluses, and then I consider him. But at this point, I'm not a big fan. He's just butchering it at the moment. Parker, I don't think is relevant. Josh Kelly's a very interesting one. So apparently on his heat map, he still played a lot of forward, which kind of scares me away. But man, since he's moved into the mid, quote unquote, he's had 129, 111, 132. Definitely a top 6 contender as well. So if you're looking for, this is the thing. So if you're looking for a value pick, and you have around 550, I think Kelly's your man for sure. I'd also consider Brayshaw because any game that he doesn't get tagged, besides that one game, he goes pretty big, usually 120. But I think Kelly has that. Obviously, Kelly's a better player than Brayshaw, no doubt about that. But Kelly is really discounted for what he's capable of. Could genuinely be 650k player by the start of next year. and this could be his absolute bottom dollar. A couple of weeks ago it was, but he's definitely on the rise now. So Josh Kelly is the best value pick for this week, in my opinion. So moving down, we're not going to consider Lyons because he's way too hot and cold. Ed Kerno, no. Hopper, Pod, but no. Greenwood, I thought would score better than what he has, but no. Zorko we'll talk about in our forward video. Boak. Now this is a very interesting one as well, because Boak has dropped a lot of money, and he's another one that's top 6 capable, and I'm saying that a lot about a lot of people, but you got to think about top 6 from here on out, not top 6 so far. So Boak is definitely someone who could be in that top 6. So for me, the thing with Boak is, does he get tagged? I think Port are going to get tagged by who do they play? I remember looking at the fixture and thinking, I'm not sure. So Collingwood, he should be fine. Freo, I reckon he'll get Sarong. I reckon that will be a very hard tag, just like they did to Merritt, and that's a no-go because he followed him everywhere. And I think Boak's their number 1 guy pretty comfortably. I don't think they tag Lyons. Don't think they tag Houston. I think Boak will get the tag every time a team wants to tag Port Adelaide, and that I don't like the idea of that at all. So, yeah, I think he's a good value pick. It's either him or Kelly around that price. I think they're both great picks, but I think Boak has that tag factor, and I know it's kind of iffy not trading in a player because they could get tagged, but you'd be surprised how much that actually makes a big difference. Like, look at Merritt dropping a 64. That took 60 points off my score this week. So it makes a big difference when you know they're going to get tagged. I don't see Josh Kelly getting tagged, not over Whitfield. I don't even think any of the Giants do get tagged, to be honest. Like, the form's just not good enough. Libba, thought he played really well. He had like 13 clearances. Pretty unlucky to get a 96. Must have butchered it a bit. Keys, no. Tuke Miller, another interesting one, because he's really turned it on, and I think it's because he stopped tagging. So you take out the first couple of bad games besides that 131. He goes 132, 96, 146, 115, 115. And who knows, he could have been tagging West Coast. He could have been tagging Adelaide. But it seems now he's not tagging anymore. Definitely a great option. I would have liked him a little bit cheaper. But if you want a pod, definitely jump on Miller for sure. Let me just check how much time we're up to here. So we're up to 12 minutes, okay. Fife is the other relevant one. I just don't see him being that same mid he was. He's playing so much forward time. He's just, like, I know it's probably his lowest score for the year, but he's playing so much forward. He's one to wait and see on. Yeah, it's his first under 90 for the year. And yeah, he's a great scorer, no doubt about it. Brandon Ellis, no. Gaff, no. Treloar, no. That's pretty much it. So for those primos, and then the next one we're going to look at is a guy by the name of, where is he? Riley Collier-Dawkins. So he's a 182k. Now, a lot of people are still bringing him in, and I see why. The first factor is we don't have any other rookies really besides that Ronan O'Connor guy who scored about 40. So I think Riley Collier-Dawkins is a great option. He's definitely getting that mid-time. His break-even's still minus 22. He's still going to make you money. Even if you missed out on that first price-wise, he's still going to make you enough money, I think, to be worth one trade. He's a good field option as well, which is pretty valuable at this point for rookies because we don't have great rookies who win on the field. Even Highmore, we thought he was going to be good. He gave us a 40-something, so hopefully he bounces back and keeps his spot. But yeah, as for Collier-Dawkins, I think he's pretty safe to average around the 70 to 80 mark. Potentially 85, which would be unbelievable. I'm probably going to hold him for the next 4 or 5 rounds because I don't really need to touch my mid. And I think everyone else is going to be in a similar boat where it's probably a good option just to go Powell to Collier-Dawkins. So what are people doing? So, okay, that's the 4th most traded in. Riley Collier-Dawkins for Tom Powell. Yeah, so I think that's the best option. Zorko, yeah. But definitely bring in Collier-Dawkins. So the top 3 picks for this week, he's one of them. Collier-Dawkins is one of them. The next one is Jared Lyons. And the next one is Cam Guthrie based on his first buy. Actually, you know what? We're going to have 4. The top 4. Because this week is a very tough one. And we're going to add Josh Kelly because he's got the value. So he's our value pick. Collier Dawkins is the best rookie to bring in, even though he's gone up. And then Lyons and Guthrie are the best primo mids. If you have all the money in the world, they are the best ones you want to bring in. Because Lyons, for his just consistency, and Guthrie for that first buy, and a bit of consistency. But his downfall is potentially Danger coming back. Neil might affect Lyons a little bit, but not to the point where it's as bad as what Danger would affect Guthrie, in my opinion. But that's it, guys. I know it was a bit of a lengthy video, but I hope we sort of covered enough of the mids. They're all the mids that I think are relevant. They're probably like an Isaac Heaney. I don't think he's relevant personally. We'll talk about him in the forward video a bit more in depth. But thanks for watching anyway. As I said, if you haven't subscribed yet, feel free to do so. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.